Okay, let's talk about a couple things here. We got your chipping, we got your full swing. Um, there's three things in a golf swing that we want: power, contact, and direction. So the chipping is about contact, and then the full swing is about how you're trying to get power, as much energy as you can into the golf ball to hit it far consistently. So let's talk about the chipping first. You start with a good grip. Both grips are fine in your swing. So when you chip, you instinctively want to use your wrist. You'll see your right hand go to this, what we call flexion. You need to impact this hand is go this way, and this one's an extension now. And we do, that's someone that's trying to scoop underneath it, basically trying to get the club under the ball. And two things, it's either going to hit the ground or behind or topped. You'll get away with the mats, but you won't get away with the grass. It'll grab your club. So you have a scooping action. So we talked about how to get that out of your swing. And then the second part is in your big swing, how do you get power in your swing? There's 6 things that we can possibly move in the swing. We have shoulders, hips, and wrists. These are the things that get you in trouble. In the short swing, you're moving from the wrist. We do move our wrist, but we don't go to flexion or extension like that. In the big swing, your hips and your shoulders are trying to get all the power and the load. In the backswing, which I call load up the energy, then we got to turn around and apply a force to something and to get the energy out of that force into the golf club, it'll have speed. So when you go back in your swing, your first move is to move from the hip, and you'll push out, and this weight is now outside your foot, and now you're kind of stuck here. You won't be able to move this shoulder any more than it is. So now you're kind of stuck a little bit here in your swing, and now you've got to get some power in your swing. So you do push down your legs initially, but you'll see this shoulder right here. It'll just start spinning away from the ball, and that's you trying to get power in your shoulders because you're just jammed, and you don't have any power but just to get twist through the shot, and you're dragging the club behind you, and the driver is the hardest one to drag through because it's bigger, longer, and it's hard to get through the shot. And all that gives is stressing back, elbows, because you're fighting against your own body at this point, because you're not releasing the club, you're pulling it through, not getting the energy into the golf club. So as we go through our drills, we'll see what we did to fix these things and to work on to get a little bit better. So let's first go back to the chipping, and let's pull up a video here. Go a couple drills. Okay, so the first thing is, let's back this up. So when we go through the shot, you'll see tour players here. When they go through, we'll look at Colin here. We need a descending blow. This visual, you can see the club's on a descending blow. The bottom of the swing is the green circle. We need to hit the ball first. That means this club is applying leverage and a downward blow. And you'll see in the scooping, your club is going the other way. You're in the shaft's leaning this way. It's still leaning that way. And you can see here both hands, these hands are what we call now, Colin is super flexed here, and extension he still has here, and he applies leverage. Most tour players are going to look like over in the left, but when they go through, you're going to see how quiet their hands are. I mean, there's not a lot of wrist in their swing. They're just applying leverage. There's an unhinging, but the wrists do not roll or flip. And your hands flip here, that's what gets you in trouble. So everything we're doing is to make that better. So whether you're hitting a chip or a full swing, your hands will work through the same way. Let's pull this ahead to the drill. So if we go over here and we did our hitting the bag drill where I felt your core, you can see here we're applying leverage with our core, arms, and our lower half. We'll go to the big swing here in a second, but we're trying to apply leverage whether it's a chip, a half swing, or a full swing, we're still applying leverage the same way. So we go over to the chipping drill. So this is the chipping drill, and if you do this, only make sure you don't hurt your arm with a one-handed shot. But you can give this a try only if it's small, meaning your hand's about hip to hip. Do not swing your hand above your hip height. You do not want to stress your right arm. You can see I'm hugging my arm here against my core. And I'm going to keep this hand in the same angle. Meaning it stays here in what we call the extension, no flip. So your hand will go to flexion here. Now to get to the shot, I have to move my core where my arm is, my legs, and my ground reaction forces. So I'm pushing and moving and applying leverage. I'm going to go over here to the impact bag. Same thing, I'm just applying leverage to something, not trying to lift something. And over here with the golf club in the middle, they all look the same, just now I'm going to hit the ball first. You'll see the visual of the ball getting hit below, and it compresses off the face and pops it up. So these are chip shots. You can feel quiet hands and move your core and arms and hit with the feet pushing and the legs and your core, but not your wrists. Wrists are really quiet through the shot, not going on in that. We don't want a whole lot going on in that space. So that kind of works on the chipping. I also, let's see, we have it here. In this drill, also part of the reason scoop is people try to get underneath. This exercise, I put a teaching aid right across my impact bag. It's up in the air, and I told you to hit underneath it. And because of that, you had no instinct to use your wrist. So that wrist thing went away, and you applied leverage. Now we have our hands correct. There's flexion, and there's extension, and you applied leverage. And all I did was say try to keep it lower, and your hands went away. See your legs move, and see how you compress the ball off the face. And now you moved your hips through the shot correctly. So this is just a mini version of the big swing, so it's important to keep doing these little chip shots, because this is in every swing. We go over here to the same thing of me hitting the ball in the middle. You're just applying leverage, no left. And this was after we talked about it, but it really changed when I told you to try to hit a low shot. You see how high the ball actually goes in the air? Because the faces are pointing up, we're going to apply leverage, and the club has the angle that makes it go up. If you try to make it go up, then you're going to do the scooping. So it's just a mini version of your swing. So next thing we talked about is your backswing. The one drill, so your tendency is to twist your hips and shoulders. And this is us making a better backswing right here. The first drill I did here is just you cross your arms right on your, I would put my hands for you a little bit lower, right on your rib cage. And you're gonna, you see I'm holding the driver right here. This is important for this to stay. And we're resisting the legs, not moving from the legs. And I'm rotating my chest, my ribs right on top of that my lower half. I'm trying to feel resistance, not turn my hips. This stabilizes my backswing. So I wanted you to have that feeling. The second part of it is we need some width in our swing. So I call punching the wall. Instead of twisting, I'm going to feel like there's a wall right here, and I'm going to punch in that same feeling. This gets me in a stretching feeling, not a twisting feeling. Now you'll feel resistance in these places. Back, this part of your muscle back here, and your legs and your core. It should feel like a spring of energy. Feeling this instead of the twisting. Now from there, we're just going to feel like we're going to hit that impact bag. So from here, we're just going to apply leverage using your core and your legs, and that's where you really get your power. You also see when I do this, this front shoulder does not spin away. As I'm trying to get energy to the bag, and your other swing, you'll see your shoulders spin away. You'll see how your shoulder stays in there longer. So when I got you to picture it hitting the bag, you see your shoulder stayed in longer. This gets you to get that extension, that release of energy that way. Eventually, tour players, once they get that force, they're going to take this club and turn it into a slingshot. So as they go and hit, you'll see the release of the golf club. So there's a force that's hitting the bag, and then there's a release of the golf club. See how it's now being released, and your shoulder stays down. Let's bring your other one up for a second. So this backswing, what we did, you can see what we did is how we did that better backswing. You see this shoulder, this is your old swing. It didn't really move because you're pushing from here. We move from the core, keeping our legs resisting there, and that allows you to get a better rotation, that right arm folded. Now from here, you just pretend you're hitting the bag. That's your hit. See, now you stay from the inside here, we're outside coming across and away. Here's your hit downward and release the golf club. These just doing these little drills to kind of get to that feel. But when you go in the right order, you have enough parts, you can get a nice hit and release. Every time you hit a bad shot, you're feeling symptoms that get you in trouble. This power again, and we're getting out of the shoulders, trying to create the power in that lower half and the arms, and kind of going through these drills.